Ever wondered how to truly connect with others? Have you ever looked back at old relationships and tried to figure out why you connected to some people but just not to others? What is that it factor that just pulls you into some people and just does not want you to let go? This Valentine's Day, we explore the secrets to attracting genuine love and fostering deeper connections. So stay tuned. Good morning, challengers, and welcome to day 14, 2 weeks into the 21 days of Discover You Challenge. This is Ballori, your transformation coach for this challenge. Today, on this day of love, we'll be exploring how to embrace authenticity to create successful connections, whether it's platonic or romantic, professional or personal. How can you show up as your true, authentic self in your relationships and attract genuine love and connection? That's not exactly what you thought I was going to say, was it? Authenticity, the key to finding love and connection. So before we dive in deeper to the conversation of authenticity, let's talk about what are we actually looking for when it comes to connection. And I think that will actually help us understand why authenticity is so important. The top 3 things we usually seek in love and connections are understanding and acceptance, emotional intimacy, and mutual respect and support. So these sound so straightforward, then why does it feel so hard to connect to people? In our pursuit of love and acceptance, we tend to lose sight of our true selves. We mold into versions of who we think others want us to be and lose our authenticity in the hope of being loved and accepted, only to realize that we've disconnected and rejected ourselves in the process. We begin to transform into someone who we don't really recognize in the mirror and create a discomfort from within. And then we look to somebody else to make us happy. We begin to attract people who we're really not attracted to or the right fit for. And then we get frustrated and wonder why we can't find love. Do you see the problem here? So authenticity is a buzzword we use so often, but do you really know what it means in the context of relationships? Being authentic means showing up as your true self without any pretense or facade, and allowing your words, actions, and emotions to align with your inner values and beliefs. So this goes back to our last few days and the importance of self-love and self-acceptance. Your vibe attracts your tribe. This saying couldn't be more on point. As I started going through my own journey of healing, I started to actually realize that my value system wasn't exactly what I thought it was. It was adding a couple of things. I didn't really take things out, but I definitely added things and reprioritized old values. But it did make a huge difference. And as I started going through this exercise, I started to realize why I was no longer able to connect with people in the same way as before, whether it was personal relationships or professional ones. But as old connections started to clear out, what happened is I had more time to focus on the relationship with myself. And as that relationship got stronger, it made space for new and deeper connections. And as I went out and met more people, what I started to notice is I started to attract more people who were aligned to who I am now. And when I go out now, if there is some level of disconnection, what I do observe is the stark difference in the flow of conversation and in energy. And I'm just completely at a loss for words in some situations, and other situations I can't stop talking. I find myself tiptoeing around people's feelings and in this weird push and pull dynamic, if there is that difference in value systems. And I wonder, is this okay? Can I say this? Can I do this? Am I going to hurt someone's feelings? Am I going to trigger someone? And then I get back home and I'm just like, ooh, that did not feel good. I feel drained. I feel confused. The imbalance is just jarring. Does that feel familiar to you? Consider reviewing your values, and this is part of why we did this a couple of days ago, is by reviewing these values, you might actually notice why you're not connecting with people you used to connect with before. So how can embracing authenticity improve our relationships and connections? So the first thing is self-awareness, which is what we're doing during this challenge. And then the next thing is vulnerability. You have to be open and honest, even when it feels uncomfortable. This doesn't mean you target someone and say, you did this, you did that. It's more about telling them how a certain situation or action or words might have made you feel. Because maybe they didn't realize that's what happened. And generally what I've noticed is we pick up a lot on nonverbal communication. So one person changes their behavior and then the other one starts feeling like something shifted. So then they change their behavior and then suddenly your relationship is no longer what it used to be and you're no longer connecting the way you used to. So by sharing our feelings, our fears, insecurities, dreams with other people, we actually create opportunities for genuine connection and intimacy. So by sharing our fears, insecurities, and dreams with others, we actually create opportunities for genuine connection and intimacy, and we allow them to feel that it's a safe space for them to do the same thing. And another thing is when you open this conversation, you have to give them the space to speak and listen to what they have to say. Because if you don't, it's an automatic reason for them to then shut down again. Now, the next thing is setting boundaries. This is something we also talked about as part of self-love. It's just as important when it comes to connecting with others. Boundaries help us honor our own needs and values while also respecting the boundaries of others. So when we establish clear boundaries in our relationships, we create space for authenticity to flourish. Again, if this isn't something you're already doing, initially it might be a little bit jarring for the other people and it might be uncomfortable for yourself, but gradually the boundaries will be understood and hopefully respected, and the dynamics of the relationship should improve. And the last thing is it's essential to let go of the need for approval and validation from other people. If you start to give yourself that approval and validation, what you'll notice is you have this innate sense of self and alignment, and that is just so much more attractive. That clinginess and that idea of putting someone on a pedestal because they're going to make everything come true for you is actually very scary for the other person. So when you bring that power within, it actually allows both of you to come together. And so you have your lives separately, and then when you come together, you have the life together, which is so much more exciting. So as you start to experience the shift and aligning more with people who are a good fit for your authentic self, you won't actually mind being rejected by the wrong people as much. Not everyone needs to or will like you, and that's fine. When we release that fear of judgment and embrace our authentic selves fully, we're actually attracting more of those people who appreciate and love us for who we already are. So, for today's prompt, what we are going to do is understand how to help you start embracing your authenticity in relationships better. Take a few moments to consider a recent interaction or relationship where you felt hesitant to be your authentic self. What fears or insecurities held you back? How might embracing your authenticity have changed the outcome of that interaction? Now, write down any insights or realizations that come to mind. And if you have the opportunity to reach out to that person and maybe change the situation, what I'd like you to do is really think about what your intention is. Is this a relationship you want to keep in your life? Is this something that you just want to get closure from? And once you figure that out, reach out to them and let them know that you'd like to revisit the previous conversation after some reflection. So today's tip of the day: to improve your connections, we must learn how to communicate in ways that are received correctly. So discover and understand your partner's love language as well as your own. And whether it's words of affirmation, acts of kindness, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch, speaking each other's love language fosters deeper understanding and connection. So take the time to communicate and express love in ways that resonate most with your partner, but also do it in a way it's still authentic to you. And if you are not really sure about love languages and you'd like me to do a video on what that actually means, I'm glad to do it. Leave a comment. And may every day, not just today, be filled with love, joy, laughter, and connection. Thank you for taking the first step to improving your connections by looking within during this challenge. An extraordinary life is only extraordinary when you have others to share it with. I wish you all a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I will see you here again tomorrow.